Buongiorno ragazzi e benvenuti a Valentino's Ristorante Sardegna. Okay, so welcome back to another video, guys. Today we are making for you Malloreddus Alla Campidanese. It's little baby gnocchetti done with semolina flour, water and a touch of olive oil. And the sauce is a lovely ragù di salsiccia, the pork mince sausage. So let me run through the ingredients with you. Firstly, we have semola flour made from drum wheat, same flour that we used in the last video with the curugiones. There's a lovely fine semolina rimacinata, and we just mix that with a little bit of olive oil and water, and that's how we're going to make the pasta dough. Then after that we're going to get onto the sauce, which all we need then is an onion, fresh parsley, some fresh basil, I love basil, beautiful Italian passata, fresh pecorino sardo, some beautiful pork sausages. Ragù in Italian basically means it's like a sauce of meat. Tagliatelle bolognese, in Italy we usually call it a ragù di manzo. In Britain we call it bolognese. Like in the last video, making the curugiones, we need to season the flour. Get enough salt in there so it doesn't taste bland when you're eating it. So we're going to start moving. And then slowly we're just going to add in our water. Just going to do a little bit at a time, bring it together, let the flour and the water combine, do its thing. And we're going to add a little touch of some good quality olive oil halfway through. Add some fat into the dough as well, gives it a nice elasticity, a different kind of flavour in there as well. And then by then we need to add a little bit more water in. Okay, so slowly coming together. I'm going to put some olive oil in there now. The thing you've got to be careful with the semola flour is it's so fine that 1 minute you can be putting water in and it seems perfect, and all of a sudden, bam, all the water and flour combine and then it becomes too wet, so you end up having to add a little bit more flour. So this is why we add a little bit of time. Right now we're going to put some good quality olive oil in. Don't be afraid. Again, let that all come together, assess the texture, and then add a little bit more water if we need to. Just more or less the consistency that we want. Just give it a little knead. Just give it a bit of a better shape. Roll it a bit like this as opposed to a ball. Because when it comes to making the gnocchi, we've got to make them into little rows like sausages. Just going to give it a little bit of flour. So just to stop it from sticking. And then just going to wrap it nicely in cling film and let it rest for about 30 minutes. Let's get onto the sauce. We want to get this amazing mincemeat out of the sack, so you're just going to give it a little slit, incision, and then you're just going to take the skin off, just like that. And then you're left with this amazing sausage mince. Slice, slice. It's quite therapeutic really if you're one of those people that like to peel, like peeling sunburned skin. So now, chop them up like that. Nice and rough, rustic. I'm going to spread it out. Get a bit of salt. Pepper. Just get it in there. Then we're just going to fine dice our onions. Take off that top layer of skin. Pan on the fire, extra virgin olive oil. Let that heat up a little bit, and then we're going to add our onions. So we're going to let them soften slightly in with our sausage, salsiccia di maiale. Just mince it, move it around with a spoon. It's nice sometimes when you have a couple of big chunks, smaller ones, you know. I don't like it to be too minced up. So what we're going to do is slowly brown that. The smell coming off is amazing. So again, just keep it moving. I want to cook it evenly and all the way through. As soon as we start getting a little tiny caramelization on the sausage, then this is optional. I add a little bit of white wine just to deglaze the pan, because then from that caramelization on the pork, that's where all the flavor comes out. It's almost like a sear on the mince. So then, like I said, I deglaze it with the white wine, a nice little punch of something different, fruity, nice aroma from there, burn off the alcohol, and it all basically cooks into the meat. Super easy, super simple recipe, but it's been around for generations, many years, and tastes incredible. Smells good. Now, optional as well, some people also add zafferano into this recipe, which is saffron. It goes well. Me personally, I prefer it without, so I don't put it in, but optional again. If you guys at home, you'd like to put it in, let it soak in the water, and then you add that in as well, and deglaze a little bit with that. Here we go, a little bit of white wine, deglaze the pan just around. Gonna get a little fire. See all this wonderful texture now. Look, watch this wine. As it burns off and comes down, it's going to make this beautiful cream. And that is pure flavor. Look at this. Look at that coming out now. That all then carries on cooking off the alcohol, soaks into the meat. As soon as that reduces down, then we can add in the pasade, Italian tomatoes. Even better when they're Sardinian. Sardinian tomatoes. We use a Sardinian extra virgin olive oil as well. All Sardinian products, really, because that's how you're going to make the Sardinian dish, is the quality of the products. And this is the beauty about Italian cooking and Sardinian cooking. Minimal products, but it's about the quality of the products. That's what creates the dish. Italian cuisine really comes from poverty, but it's made its way all over the world to be one of the most incredible cuisines, which everyone loves to cook and eat. Now the tomato goes in. Bring it all together. And what we're going to do now is let that simmer slowly. So then, before the end, again, I'm adding my parsley, fresh prezzemolo, adding some basilico. And we're going to cook the pasta. The pasta will not take long to cook. We're going to move over to the pasta department now, and we're going to shape the gnocchi. Whilst the pasta is cooking, then I'm going to take a little bit of the pasta water at the end and add it there, because inside that pasta water, the pasta releases starch, and that starch creates a beautiful consistency into the sauce, and it all combines together. Let's get on with the gnocchetti. Flour the surface. So, just a bit at a time. Keep this wrapped up. Remember, always keep the spare parts of the dough wrapped up because you don't want it to dry out too much. And this, we're basically going to roll. It's like making gnocchi. So we're rolling it out relatively thin. We're just going to cut into little nuggets. Now we're going to talk about a gnocchi board very easy to find. It's called the riga gnocchi, and it basically makes the line, it makes the shape of the classic gnocchi. I'll show you an alternative after. We use the gnocchi board, we put it on, and we literally make the gnocchi. So let me carry on. Put it on. A bit forceful because I want to make it thin enough as well where it cooks all the way through. Now this pasta, because it's semola flour, it has a little bit more of a bite as opposed to the gnocchi di patate, but that's what makes it so good. Now pick up the speed. And that is how we make a gnocchetti Malloreddus. Now if you can't get the riga gnocchi for whatever reason, now you can actually do it with a fork. If you've made gnocchi before, then you're gonna know it's the same thing as well. I'm going to cut it from the other side now. Here we go. Now, fork, fingers, push, press, roll. Push, press, roll. So again, it's just an alternative. If you haven't got the riga gnocchi or the gnocchi board, you can do more or less similar. It's a lot more rustic, but that's fine if you're making it at home. Why not? Press and roll. But personally, for me, I'm going to use the riga gnocchi. Now, it's important that you do get this shape like this, so you can get a flow of water when you cook it, and it passes through, so it can cook all the gnocchi evenly and inside as well, so it's not too al dente. If you don't press it hard enough, then it's a little bit too thick. It's got too much of a bite. Now I like my pasta al dente to the bite, but I don't want it like a rock. And this is the difference between gnocchi di patate, because the potato, the patate, will make it nice and soft and tender, which is wonderful. But this is a different version. This is semola flour, and it's typical of Sardegna. Sardegna. There we are. So I added the gnocchetti to salted boiling water. So I'm just going to take literally a tablespoon of water into that just to loosen it back up. We're going to add the herbs, finely cut. Then we'll go through it just one more time, loosely. There. That goes in. Important with the basil, don't press too much, and don't press with a knife too much. Just let the knife guide you through and do the work, and only go through it once. Otherwise the basil ends up black. See, it keeps its colour, keeps its flavour. That goes in as well. Stir this pasta. Oh, che buona questa pasta. Wow. Ok, un altro po' di pepe. One more tablespoon in. Pasta's ready. In. Bring that together. Questa si chiama amalgamare. You're gonna mix together. You let the pasta and the sauce unify and come together. You don't just put boiled pasta on a plate and a sauce on top. You bring them together in harmony, matrimony, till death do them part. Death being my mouth. Okay, we bring that back up, and then we plate, we dish, we sit, we eat, we live life. Look, all the sauce is sticking to the pasta. It's sticking. We bring it all together. Yeah, it's not watery, it's not liquidy. It's all absorbed by the pasta and stuck to the pasta. It's exactly what we want. In with the pasta, a little bit of pecorino, cheese, pecorino sardo, Sardinian pecorino. You can never have too much parmesan. Now we plate. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That is what you call perfection. They say perfection doesn't exist. Do you know what? When you're talking about pasta, it damn well exists. Okay. Sprinkling of parmesan. One more time. I say parmesan, I mean pecorino. You pick some nice basil leaves and you sit them on top. Here we go. Sardinian olive oil. Just a little bit like that. And that is my Malloreddus Alla Campidanese. The sausage mince ragù. If you're liking these videos, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.